Now that we've gone through the stages of labor, I want to share some pain management techniques. Now, in previous modules, I've discussed the importance of identifying your fears going into childbirth and surrendering them over to God. And although I do believe that that is such an important aspect when it comes to mentally and spiritually preparing for birth, there are things that you can do during labor on a more physical level to help you cope with pain during labor. So, the first thing I want to talk about is oxytocin. I know this love drug, this hormone that we have talked about before in previous modules, has come up a few different times, but I want to talk about oxytocin during labor. Now, the same way baby got in is going to be how baby gets out. Some of you may have heard that phrase before, but it could not be more true. When you're making a baby, you need to feel loved and safe and connected and vulnerable. And these are all things that promote oxytocin. So when you're in labor, you need to feel these things too. So we've talked about the environment that you give birth in mattering and how it can help promote oxytocin. But it is so crucial to be able to continue to cultivate those feelings while you're in labor. There's actually research that shows that oxytocin can block pain receptors. There's a research study that I read that actually stated that if oxytocin is present in the body, it is known and shown to block pain sensations. This wasn't specifically looking at labor pains, but I was looking at pains like back pain, things like that. So it is known to stop and block those pain receptors. And this is how it is possible for you, along with thousands of other women that already have had a pain free birth. So, really just remember that when you're in labor and when you're starting to feel those sensations, do things with your partner. Do put things on the TV, put music on, put essential oils on the diffuser, put things on that are and do things that are going to make you feel good. A lot of people give advice like to hug and kiss, and honestly, some people even say have sex during labor. I know a lot of people are not really into doing that once you get farther along in labor, in active labor. But it is, and it will help you cultivate and create that oxytocin in your body to help reduce pain. The next pain management technique is movement. So I mentioned the same way baby got in is the same way baby will get out is also true when it comes to a physical perspective. There are different positions to get baby in, and there's different positions to get baby out. And if you are having a physiological birth where you're going with the feelings that you have and your intuition, your body will naturally take you to positions that you need to be in to have your baby. But try out different things. There's many different positions that you can try while you're in labor to help progress things along. And remember, sometimes the more intense the feeling is, the more beneficial that position is. The next tip is physical touch. So I know I mentioned that oxytocin is going to help reduce pain. And part of, or one of the things you can do to create more oxytocin in your body is to have physical touch. So whether this is a support person like your partner or your doula, you can have them do different things that will help you stay comfortable. This might look like massage or giving you a wet, warm, or cool towel to put over you. Anything that is physically touching you that will help bring comfort. Touch during labor has been shown to decrease muscle tension. It provides reassurance for you. It reduces anxiety, enhances women's sense of control. It will distract you from pain if you are having pain, and it can overall decrease your blood pressure in labor. I know for me, just having someone massage me at certain times. There's definitely going to be times where you probably don't want to be touched, but there's a time and place for touch. And I will say the most beneficial physical touch that I received during labor were hip squeezes. This is a very, very common pain coping mechanism or technique that people do during labor. And what it is you actually have your partner or whoever squeeze the top of your hips at your ilia. So the top of your hip here, they will squeeze that. And when they do that, it will actually create space in your sacral joint. So it will create space for baby to come down. So while you're having a contraction, you can have your partner or whoever do that hip squeeze, and you will find that it will help reduce the sensations that you're feeling, maybe pressure that you're feeling during the contraction. My tip for you is to practice doing this before labor. It is so helpful to do this movement and to practice with someone before, because when you're in labor, it's not always very easy to articulate what you need or what you want. And the last thing you want is to have to be showing and directing someone on what to do when you're in the middle of a contraction. So practice these hip squeezes before you're in labor. Tip number 4. I absolutely love this tip for coping with pain during labor. I find it so fascinating. So Ina May Gaskin, arguably one of the most well-known names in birth and midwifery circles, talks about the sphincter law. Sphincters are involuntary muscles that don't get tired, unlike any other muscles. So we have different sphincters in our body. They are circular muscles that surround the opening of organs that are required to empty themselves at the appropriate time. So things like urine, feces, and also babies. So the state of relaxation of the mouth and jaw and your vocal cords have a direct correlation with your cervix. So a relaxed and open mouth will favor a more open vagina and cervix. So this is just, when I found this out, I was, like I said, very fascinated. And you can easily understand this concept by thinking about a couple things and even trying something out yourself. So if you think about going to the bathroom, if you're trying to go to the bathroom and you're feeling very tense and uncomfortable, naturally it's harder to go. I have gone into a bathroom stall and had to go pee, but for some reason, because of the environment that I'm in, I felt maybe uncomfortable. I'm not really even sure. It's just like a subconscious thing. And it was harder to go to the bathroom. Now, if you're relaxed and comfortable at home, you don't typically have a problem opening up that sphincter. It just opens up and you go to the bathroom. So that's the first thing. The second thing I mentioned, so the jaw and your throat and your vocal cords have a direct correlation to your cervix, your vagina, your pelvic floor overall. Now, if you make a noise with your vocal cords that is very high pitched, what does that feel like in your throat? So you can try it out yourself. If I go, ah, what do you feel in your throat? For me, I feel my throat is very tight. I feel a tight sensation in my throat when I make that high pitched screaming noise. So when I'm doing that, if my vocal cords and my throat are connected to my pelvic floor, what is happening to my pelvic floor at that time? So now, opposite, if you make a more deep, low sound with your vocal cords, what does that feel like? So if you go, or even say something like, open, something deep and low, what does that feel like? Your throat does not feel tight. So if you are in labor and you're having a contraction, if you make a high pitched, tight noise, you're also stopping your cervix from opening. So you can easily just change the sounds that you're making into a deep, low sound. Even say potentially the word open to tell your body to open up. That can help your cervix dilate more quickly and help the baby come out sooner. I even remember for me personally, there were 1 or 2 times when I was in labor and my voice started to get a little bit higher. I naturally was having very deep and primal noises coming out of me, but a couple times my voice got louder or higher, and my doula reminded me to keep the volume or the tone, not necessarily volume, the tone very low. And I immediately noticed a change in how I felt during the contraction. So really keep this tip in mind as you're going through labor. You do not want to forget this one. Tip number 5, breathing techniques. So breathing is extremely important in labor. If you are going to be holding your breath and resisting contractions, you will likely find yourself in a place of more pain and definitely more exhaustion. You need to breathe deeply in order to help your body stay full of oxygen, for one, and to help you get through each contraction. Now, there's a lot of different breathing techniques out there and things you can practice as far as breathing goes for coping with pain. For me personally, I'm going to share what I did because it worked for me. Again, I don't want to overcomplicate it because I think with all the different breathing techniques and things out there, it can almost create this, oh, well, there's too many different things. That's too complicated. I just not going to do any of them. If you're like me, that's kind of how I think. So, what actually worked for me as far as breathing was concentrating on simply breathing. I did not clench my jaw. I did not resist the contractions. When I felt them coming, I would just inhale and exhale as many times as I needed to during the contraction to get through it. There's one breathing technique that I do find helpful as far as a specific technique, and this is called J breathing. J breathing is when you think about your exhale going down and out like a J. So I can demonstrate what this looks like. But you would be inhaling. So if I'm having a contraction right now, I would take a big inhale. And when I exhale, keep my mouth open and blow the air out in a downward. Think about pushing the air not only out of my mouth, but down through my body. So I'll do it again. Go. Just like that. And really, I think when you're in labor and you're having a contraction, it is enough energy and work alone just to concentrate on your breathing. So, yes, if you feel compelled to look up different various types of breathing techniques, because there are different types of techniques people use. But again, my biggest advice is to just breathe and to go with the contraction, to not resist it or fight it. Keep your jaw loose, keep your mouth open. The more you do this and the more you just breathe, the easier you will find it is to get through each wave. My last pain management technique is the use of water or hydrotherapy. So there's many different ways you can use water while you're in labor. You could take a shower, you could get into a bath, you can obviously give birth in water. But water is extremely helpful when it comes to pain. A lot of people will say that it's nature's epidural, and I personally really believe that it helped me cope with some of the more intense moments of my labor. I was definitely in the shower during transition, and it helped me so much. I had my husband take the shower head from my belly to my back and just alternate for as long as I needed until I needed a break from the shower. But it helped me so much to get through some of those really intense times. Water, like I said, it can decrease pain sensations. It will help you if you're at a point where you're feeling like you need pain medication. This can help so much. If you're starting to feel like you need to ask for pain medication, try water. Try getting in the shower and see how you do. It will help relax the pelvic floor, and which can help reduce tearing, which is why many women love getting or giving birth in water. For me, I could not imagine doing it any other way, and I will definitely be planning on giving birth in water the next time as well. It releases or helps release oxytocin, which we know we love and we need in labor, and it increases mobility due to the buoyancy, which is something I didn't really think about. But we've talked about how movement is so helpful in labor. And when you get to a point of being tired, it's nice to have the buoyancy to help you get into different positions without having to do it with so much physical strength. I remember moving from more of a floating position to my knees to all fours. And at that point, right before my son was born, I was pretty tired, but the water helped me be able to maneuver into those positions. Now, these things are all things that can help you more on a physical level, but when it comes to water, I do believe that there is a spiritual component to water helping us in birth. And I just have to share this with you as encouragement and for you to keep in mind when you are in labor and while you maybe as you're hopping into your tub to push your baby out, or if you're getting into the shower for pain relief, that you can remember the spiritual aspect of how water can really help us. So, water represents the Holy Spirit ability to refresh us, to quench our spiritual thirst, and to cleanse us, and to bring forth life wherever He flows, wherever Jesus flows. Water has the power to heal. We've seen that happen in the Bible where water has healed people, and it has the power to purify and provide deliverance, to provide freedom for people. So, remembering these benefits of using water therapy for pain are super helpful for me. It is a reminder that God, the Holy Spirit, is flowing through us. He's never leaving us during the entire process of being in labor, every contraction we have. He is flowing through us. And the water itself is such a good reminder of that. So if you're going to use water in labor, let it refresh you, let it strengthen you, and let it remind you that life will be brought forward wherever He flows.